The golden spires of the Kraxon Imperial Palace pierced the violet skies of Nexus Prime, their crystalline surfaces reflecting the light of 3 setting suns. Supreme Commander Virax stood at the observation deck, his scaled hands clasped behind his back as he watched the endless stream of transport ships moving through the capital skyways. The Kraxon Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past century, but their latest discovery promised to be their greatest prize yet. Supreme Commander, the Ancient Council representatives have arrived, announced his aide, a younger Kraxon whose scales had not yet developed the deep purple hue of maturity. Virax didn't turn around. Let them waste their breath. We've already made our decision. The doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing 3 figures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The Ancient Council members appeared as shifting patterns of light and energy, barely containing themselves in humanoid forms. The central figure stepped forward, its voice resonating directly in Virax's mind. You were not summoned to receive a suggestion, Supreme Commander. You were summoned to receive a warning. Virax finally turned, his facial scales rippling in amusement. About Earth, that primitive world that hasn't even established colonies beyond its own moon. Please, spare me your cryptic prophecies. The Ancient Council members' form flickered intensely. We have watched countless civilizations rise and fall across the millennia. Earth is different. Humans are different. They possess something that your empire's scientific instruments cannot measure. And what might that be? Virax asked mockingly. The capacity for exponential growth under pressure. Their adaptability isn't linear, it's logarithmic. Every challenge they face accelerates their evolution. Virax walked to his command console, bringing up the latest intelligence reports on Earth. The holographic display showed cities that would have been considered primitive by even the youngest Kraxon colonies. Their most advanced weapons were chemical propellants and crude atomic devices. Their space presence consisted of a handful of orbital stations and automated probes. Look at these readings, Virax said, gesturing to the display. Their technological level is centuries behind ours. Their military forces still rely on projectile weapons. They waste resources on internal conflicts. They're divided into hundreds of competing political entities. The second Ancient Council member moved forward, its form rippling like water in zero gravity. That is precisely what makes them dangerous. They have achieved in centuries what took other species millennia. They went from first flight to landing on their moon in less than 7 decades. They split the atom less than a century after discovering electricity. And yet they still kill each other over resources and ideology. Virax countered. They're savages with delusions of greatness. The third ancient member spoke, its voice carrying an edge of finality. The last species that dismissed our warning about Earth was the Xanaxis Collective. Do you know what happened to them? The Xanaxis? Virax's scales shifted in confusion. They disappeared over 3 centuries ago. Their entire civilization vanished. They didn't vanish. They were defeated. By Earth. By humans who had barely achieved spaceflight. The Collective's invasion force was meant to be a simple conquest. Instead, it became their extinction event. Virax's amusement faded slightly, but his resolve remained unchanged. The Xanaxes were overconfident and technologically stagnant. We are the Kraxon Empire. We have never failed to conquer a target world. Your empire's strength is also its weakness, the first ancient said. You rely on overwhelming force and superior technology. But humans thrive on being overwhelmed. They innovate fastest when facing extinction. They unite most strongly when divided. They fight hardest when victory seems impossible. Enough. Virax's scales flashed with anger. The invasion fleet has already departed. Earth will become the 18th system under Kraxon control, and your warnings will be remembered as the senile ramblings of a dying council. The ancient members began to fade from view, their forms becoming transparent. The central figure spoke one last time. We do not warn you to protect Earth, Supreme Commander. We warn you to protect your empire. What you are about to unleash will reshape the galaxy, but not in the way you imagine. As the ancient council vanished, Verax returned to the observation window. In the distance, beyond the atmosphere, he could see the faint flashes of ships entering hyperspace, the first wave of the invasion fleet. He dismissed the council's warnings from his mind. After all, how dangerous could one primitive species be? Deep in the void between stars, the Kraxan invasion fleet accelerated toward Earth, its commanders confident in their superior technology and overwhelming numbers. They had no way of knowing that they were about to spark an evolution in human civilization, one that would send shockwaves through the galaxy for generations to come. Meanwhile, on Earth, in a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a young lieutenant named Sarah Chen stared at an unusual reading on her quantum detection array. The signal was unlike anything she'd seen before, but its implications were clear. Something large was moving through space, headed straight for Earth. She reached for the secure phone on her desk, her hand steadied despite the gravity of what she was about to report. "Sir," she said when the line connected, "I think you need to see this. We're not alone anymore." Lieutenant Sarah Chen's discovery triggered a cascade of events that had been planned for decades. Within hours, military bases across the globe initiated protocols that most of their own commanders hadn't known existed. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, dormant facilities hummed to life. Beneath the Antarctic ice, thermal signatures began to rise. Dr. James Rodriguez stood in the control room of Project Oracle, surrounded by screens showing incoming data from quantum sensors across the solar system. The Kraxan fleet would reach Earth's orbit in less than 72 hours. As the project's lead scientist, he had spent 15 years preparing for this moment. "Their technology signatures are interesting," he said, manipulating a holographic display. "Advanced, but predictable. They rely heavily on quantum field manipulation for propulsion and weapons systems." General Maya Williams, commander of Earth's Unified Defense Force, studied the projections. Her dark eyes reflected the shifting light of the displays. "Can our countermeasures handle it?" "Theory suggests yes," Rodriguez replied. "But we've never tested them against actual alien technology." "We're about to," Williams said grimly. The defense plan was elegant in its deception. For decades, Earth had maintained the appearance of a divided, technologically primitive world. Every satellite launched contained hidden components. Every space mission served dual purposes. Even the International Space Station was more than it appeared. In high orbit, Commander Yuki Tanaka floated in the ISS's hidden command center, watching the approaching fleet through specialized sensors. "They're maintaining a tight formation," she reported. "No indication they suspect anything unusual about our orbital infrastructure." The Kraxan fleet emerged from hyperspace in a dazzling display of light and energy. Hundreds of ships, from massive carriers to nimble fighters, arranged themselves in an attack formation. Earth's conventional military forces scrambled jets and raised alerts, playing their part in the carefully choreographed deception. Aboard the Kraxan flagship, Fleet Commander Zex watched the primitive response with amusement. "Look at them, scrambling their atmospheric aircraft. They don't even realize those vessels are useless against our shields." His tactical officer, Neira, seemed less certain. "Sir, I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from their orbital satellites. Probably their primitive communication systems," Zex dismissed. "Begin the first phase. Target their major military installations." The Kraxan ships opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up Earth's atmosphere. But something unexpected happened. The beams seemed to dissipate before reaching their targets, weakened by an invisible field that shouldn't have existed. In Project Oracle's control room, Rodriguez allowed himself a small smile. "The quantum interference mesh is working. Their weapons are losing coherence as they pass through our defensive grid." General Williams nodded. "Time for Phase 2. Commander Tanaka, you have a go." In orbit, Yuki Tanaka gave the command that would change history. "Oracle Network, initiate protocol awakening." Across Earth's orbit, thousands of seemingly ordinary satellites transformed. Communication dishes became weapon ports. Weather monitoring arrays revealed themselves as shield generators. The entire orbital infrastructure of Earth had been a carefully constructed facade. The Kraxan fleet reeled from the sudden revelation. Their initial volley had failed, and now they faced an orbital defense network that hadn't existed moments before. But Fleet Commander Zex wasn't worried yet. They still held overwhelming numerical superiority. "Launch all fighters," he ordered. "Overwhelm their defenses with volume of fire." Thousands of Kraxan fighters poured from their carrier ships, filling space with a swarm of deadly craft. They expected to encounter primitive human satellites. Instead, they met the true face of Earth's defense force. From the hidden facilities in the Mariana Trench and Antarctica, humanity's real space fleet emerged. Ships that combined conventional technology with breakthrough quantum engineering rose from the oceans and burst from beneath the ice. They were fewer in number than the Kraxan vessels, but incorporated centuries of studying and preparing for this exact scenario. Lieutenant Chen, now stationed at a quantum communication array, watched the space battle unfold. Human ships moved with impossible precision, their crews aided by advanced AI systems that had been developed in secret. The Kraxan fighters found their quantum-based weapons and shields less effective with each passing moment as Earth's defense systems learned and adapted. "How is this possible?" Zex demanded as another squadron of his fighters disappeared in silent explosions. "Their technology. It's specifically designed to counter ours." Naira's voice shook as she reported, "Sir, we're detecting more ships launching from the planet's surface. Their capabilities don't match anything in our database." In the Antarctic launch facility, Dr. Rodriguez watched his life's work take flight. The quantum countermeasure systems he had helped develop were working better than they had dared hope. Each engagement provided more data, allowing Earth's defenses to become more effective. General Williams directed the battle with calm precision. "Status of the Lighthouse Protocol." "Ready to initiate, General," Rodriguez replied. "Though I should warn you, we've never attempted anything of this scale." Williams looked at the tactical display, where Kraxan ships still held numerical superiority despite their initial losses. "We're not going to win a war of attrition. Do it." Throughout Earth's orbital defense network, quantum resonators activated simultaneously. The technology, reverse-engineered from studies of previous alien encounters, created a cascading field effect that targeted the very principles the Kraxan ships relied on for their advanced capabilities. In space, Kraxan ships began to lose power. Their quantum field generators, the heart of their technological superiority, fluctuated and failed. Fighters lost propulsion, capital ships found their weapons inoperable, and their supposedly impenetrable shields flickered and died. "Impossible," Zex shouted as systems across his flagship began to fail. "They're primitives. They barely have spaceflight." Naira's voice was quiet but clear. "Sir, I don't think we were told everything about Earth." The first battle for Earth ended not with a prolonged exchange of fire, but with a systematic shutdown of Kraxan technology. As their ships drifted powerless in space, the true extent of humanity's preparation became clear. Earth's apparent technological backwardness had been a carefully maintained illusion, hiding decades of reverse engineering and quantum research. In the Project Oracle control room, General Williams watched the Kraxan fleet's surrender unfold. "Send the message," she ordered. Throughout the Kraxan fleet, communication systems that still functioned received a transmission in their own language. "You were warned about Earth. That was your first mistake. Your second was giving us time to prepare. We've been ready for this moment for generations. The question now is, are you ready for what comes next?" Supreme Commander Virax received the news of the fleet's defeat with cold fury. The holographic reports from the surviving ships painted an impossible picture. Earth, this supposedly primitive world, had not only repelled their initial assault, but had done so with technology specifically designed to counter Kraxan systems. In his private chambers on Nexus Prime, Virax faced a secure transmission from Fleet Commander Zex, whose usual confidence had been replaced by barely concealed fear. "They were waiting for us," Zex reported. "Their entire technological development was a deception. Every satellite, every piece of infrastructure. It was all designed to hide their true capabilities." "Impossible," Virax snarled. "Our intelligence network is the finest in the galaxy. We've monitored them for decades." "And they've been monitoring us right back," came a new voice. Dr. Elena Santos, a human quantum physicist, stepped into view behind the captured Zex. Her presence in the transmission was itself a show of force. The humans had not only defeated the Kraxan fleet, but had already decrypted their most secure communication channels. Meanwhile, in Project Oracle's primary research facility, Dr. Rodriguez and Lieutenant Chen worked to integrate captured Kraxan technology with Earth's systems. The quantum interference mesh that had proven so effective in the first battle was being enhanced with insights gained from studying the disabled Kraxan ships. "Their base technology is actually quite elegant," Rodriguez observed, examining a holographic representation of a Kraxan quantum drive. "They just never considered the possibility of it being used against them." Sarah Chen nodded, her fingers dancing across a quantum interface. "They built their entire civilization on a single technological path. We developed dozens, just in case." This had been humanity's greatest advantage. While the Kraxan Empire had focused on perfecting a single line of technological development, Earth had pursued multiple paths simultaneously. When alien artifacts had been discovered decades ago, humanity hadn't simply copied them. They had developed countermeasures, alternatives, and hybrids. General Williams stood in the new Combined Defense Command, where representatives from every nation monitored the ongoing integration of Earth's defense systems. The old rivalries and divisions that had once defined human politics had given way to a unified purpose. On the main screen, a live feed showed Kraxan ships being systematically studied and reverse-engineered in orbital dockyards. "The Kraxan Empire won't take this defeat lightly," Williams addressed the assembled leaders. "Our victory in orbit was decisive, but it was just the beginning." She was right. On Nexus Prime, Supreme Commander Virax had already ordered the mobilization of the Empire's main fleet. The force that had attacked Earth had been merely an advance wave. Now, thousands of ships were being prepared for a full-scale invasion. But Earth wasn't standing still. In facilities across the planet, new technologies were being developed at an unprecedented rate. The integration of Kraxan quantum technology with Earth's diverse technological base was producing innovations that neither civilization had imagined possible. Dr. Santos, working with both human and cooperative Kraxan scientists, made a breakthrough in quantum field manipulation. Their technology relies on stable quantum fields, she explained to a joint human Kraxan research team. "We've developed ways to create controlled instabilities, quantum chaos that we can direct." The implications were staggering. While the Kraxan Empire had spent centuries refining their mastery of stable quantum fields, humanity had learned to weaponize quantum uncertainty itself. It was an approach so counterintuitive that no Kraxan scientist had ever considered it viable. In orbit, Commander Tanaka oversaw the transformation of Earth's defense grid. The captured Kraxan ships were being integrated into the network, their technology adapted and improved. "We're not just using their tech," she reported to General Williams. "We're evolving it." The Kraxan scientists who had surrendered were stunned by the speed of human innovation. What took their civilization decades of careful refinement, humans accomplished in weeks through a combination of reverse engineering, lateral thinking, and sheer audacity. Lieutenant Chen, working with a team of engineers, developed a new class of quantum torpedoes that could phase through Kraxan shields by exploiting the very principles those shields were based on. "The beauty of it," she explained to Dr. Rodriguez, "is that the better their shields are, the more vulnerable they become to our weapons." But perhaps the most significant development came from an unexpected source. A young Kraxan engineer, inspired by human adaptability, began working on a hybrid drive system that combined Craxon quantum technology with human chaos theory. The result was a propulsion system that could achieve speeds the Empire had thought impossible. As news of Earth's technological leap spread through the galaxy, the ancient council watched with knowing satisfaction. This was why they had warned the Craxon Empire. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their ability to take any challenge and turn it into an opportunity for growth. Supreme Commander Virax received increasingly disturbing reports. Earth wasn't simply defending itself. It was undergoing a technological revolution. Every passing day brought news of another innovation, another breakthrough, another integration of human and Craxon technology that surpassed anything the Empire had achieved in centuries. In a secure chamber beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Williams met with the Global Defense Council. Holographic displays showed the movement of the Craxon main fleet, still days away from Earth. "They're coming with everything they have," she announced. "But this time, we're not just ready for them. We're ready to take the fight to them." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, presenting the latest breakthrough. "We've completed the quantum network integration. Every ship, every satellite, every defense platform is now linked in ways the Craxon Empire never imagined possible. We're not just matching their technology anymore. We're redefining it." The gathered leaders looked at the display showing Earth's transformed defense forces. Human ingenuity had taken Craxon technology and evolved it beyond its creator's imagination. The coming battle wouldn't just determine Earth's fate, it would reshape the balance of power throughout the galaxy. As the Craxon main fleet approached, they had no way of knowing that they weren't just facing a defended Earth. They were about to encounter a civilization that had taken their best technology and transformed it into something entirely new. The real question wasn't whether Earth could survive the coming assault, but whether the Craxon Empire was prepared for humanity's response. The Craxon main fleet emerged from hyperspace like an artificial constellation, thousands of ships arranging themselves into attack formation. Supreme Commander Virax had committed nearly 70% of the Empire's military forces to this single operation. Failure was not an option. "Begin the attack," Virax commanded from his flagship's bridge. "Overwhelm their defenses with sheer numbers. No clever human trick can counter the full might of the Empire." But Earth was ready. In the Combined Defense Command, General Williams watched the massive fleet's approach with steady eyes. "They still think this is about numbers," she said to her staff. "Time to show them what we've really been working on. Initiate Operation Prometheus." Throughout Earth's orbital defense network, new systems powered up. The quantum chaos drives, developed by the joint human Craxon research teams, hummed to life. Commander Tanaka, leading the space-based forces, gave the order that would demonstrate humanity's true capability. "All ships, engage quantum sync," she commanded. "Execute parallel strike patterns." What happened next defied the Craxon Empire's understanding of physics. The human ships didn't just move. They seemed to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, their quantum drives creating controlled uncertainty fields that made them nearly impossible to target. Lieutenant Chen, now stationed aboard one of the new hybrid destroyers, monitored the quantum field readings. "The uncertainty field is stable," she reported. "They can't lock onto our real positions." The Craxon fleet's first volley missed entirely, their weapons passing through phantom images, while the real ship struck from unexpected vectors. Dr. Rodriguez's quantum torpedoes phased through the Empire's supposedly impenetrable shields, detonating inside their vessels. Virax watched in horror as his carefully arranged formation began to break apart. Impossible. Their ships, they're using quantum uncertainty as a weapon. That defies every principle of stable field theory. Dr. Santos, coordinating the scientific effort from Earth, allowed herself a small smile. "That's exactly the point," she murmured. "We don't play by their rules." But the real surprise came from deeper in space. While the Craxon fleet focused on Earth's defenses, they failed to notice the quantum distortions building up around them. Humanity had turned space itself into a weapon. Quantum fold complete, Dr. Rodriguez announced, initiating the collapse. The space around the Craxon fleet suddenly contracted, as if reality itself was being twisted. Ships that had been kilometers apart found themselves compressed into dangerously close proximity, their own shields and engines working against them in the distorted space. "Break off the attack," Virax ordered, but it was too late. The quantum fold had trapped nearly a third of his fleet in a spatial knot of their own technology. The more they struggled to break free, the worse the distortion became. On Earth, the young Craxon engineer who had helped develop the hybrid drive systems watched the battle with a mixture of awe and horror. "They never imagined their technology could be used like this," he said to Lieutenant Chen. "We always sought perfect stability. Humans embraced chaos and made it dance to their tune." The battle in orbit became a demonstration of everything humanity had learned and developed. Each Craxon tactic was met with an innovative counter that shouldn't have been possible. Their perfectly coordinated fleet movements were disrupted by quantum interference patterns. Their advanced targeting systems were confused by ships that existed in probabilistic states rather than fixed positions. But humanity's greatest victory came from an unexpected direction. The Craxon crews, watching their supposedly invincible technology being turned against them in ways they had never imagined, began to question everything they had been taught about their own superiority. "Sir," Virax's second-in-command reported, "we're receiving surrender signals from multiple ships. The crews, they're requesting asylum on Earth." The news struck Virax like a physical blow. It wasn't just a military defeat, it was a cultural revolution. The Empire's own people were choosing humanity's chaotic innovation over their own ordered perfection. General Williams received the surrender communications with diplomatic grace. "All asylum requests will be honored," she announced on an open channel. "The Earth Collective welcomes those who choose to join us in pushing the boundaries of what's possible." In the aftermath of the battle, as disabled Craxon ships were guided into Earth orbit and their crews evacuated, Dr. Rodriguez and Lieutenant Chen made another discovery. The quantum chaos technologies they had developed weren't just weapons. They were the key to entirely new forms of space travel. "The uncertainty drives," Chen explained to the combined Human Craxon Scientific Council, "don't just let us move through space. They let us move with space. The implications for exploration are endless." The Craxon Empire's defeat at Earth marked more than just the end of their expansion. It represented a fundamental shift in galactic civilization. Humanity had proven that innovation and adaptation were more powerful than any established technology. Supreme Commander Virax, watching his mighty fleet either destroyed or surrendered, finally understood what the ancient council had tried to warn him about. Earth hadn't just defended itself. It had triggered an irreversible change in the galaxy's balance of power. In the Combined Defense Command, General Williams and her team were already looking beyond the immediate victory. The quantum technologies they had developed opened up possibilities that neither humans nor Craxons had imagined before. "This isn't the end," she told her staff as they watched the last Craxon ship surrender. "It's not even the beginning. We've just proven that the impossible is merely the untried. The real question is, what do we do with that knowledge?" The answer would reshape the galaxy in ways that even the ancient council hadn't foreseen. 3 months after the decisive battle at Earth, the galaxy witnessed something unprecedented. The Galactic Council Chamber, once the exclusive domain of long-established spacefaring races, welcomed its newest members, a joint delegation of humans and reformed Craxon representatives. Dr. Elena Santos stood beside the young Craxon engineer, Krell, who had helped revolutionize quantum drive technology. Together, they prepared to present their findings on the new hybrid technologies that promised to transform interstellar travel. In Earth orbit, the transformed fleet stood as a testament to what was possible when different civilizations chose cooperation over conquest. Former Craxon warships, now retrofitted with quantum chaos drives, patrolled alongside human vessels. Commander Tanaka had established a joint training program, where human and Craxan crews learned from each other's strengths. The quantum uncertainty principles we've developed, Dr. Rodriguez explained to a captivated audience of multi-species scientists, don't just change how we travel through space. They change our fundamental understanding of reality itself. Lieutenant Chen, recently promoted to captain, led the first joint human Craxan exploration mission. Their ship, the Prometheus, utilized technologies that merged the best of both civilizations. The Craxan's mastery of stable quantum fields combined with humanity's innovative chaos theory created possibilities that neither species had imagined possible. On Nexus Prime, the Craxan homeworld, a revolution of thought was taking place. The rigid hierarchies and technological orthodoxy that had defined their civilization for millennia were giving way to new ideas. Supreme Commander Virax had been replaced by a provisional council that included both traditional Craxan leaders and progressive reformers. We thought we were bringing order to the galaxy, a Craxan council member admitted during a historic broadcast. Instead, we discovered that our greatest weakness was our resistance to change. The ancient council watched these developments with keen interest. The humans hadn't just defended their world, they had catalyzed a transformation that would ripple through galactic civilization for generations to come. General Williams, addressing a combined human Craxan graduation ceremony at the new Space Academy, summarized the lessons learned. The greatest danger in the universe isn't chaos or order. It's the belief that you've reached the limits of what's possible. Dr. Santos and Krell's continued collaboration led to breakthroughs that challenged the very foundations of physics. Their quantum chaos theory opened up new dimensions of scientific understanding. Ships equipped with the new hybrid drives could traverse distances that had once seemed impossible, using the uncertainty of space itself as a pathway. But perhaps the most profound changes were cultural. The Craxan Empire, once dedicated to imposing its version of order on the galaxy, began to embrace diversity and innovation. Their cities, once uniform and rigidly planned, started incorporating human concepts of adaptability and organic growth. It's not about abandoning who we are, Krell explained to a group of young Craxan scientists. It's about recognizing that growth comes from challenging our assumptions. Captain Chen's exploration missions returned with discoveries that would have been impossible under the old paradigm. The quantum chaos drives allowed them to access regions of space that traditional ships couldn't approach. Each discovery reinforced the value of combining different perspectives and technologies. The transformation wasn't without its challenges. Some factions within both human and Craxan society resisted the changes. But the undeniable benefits of cooperation, technological advancement, cultural exchange, and the opening of new frontiers gradually won over even the most stubborn skeptics. 1 year after the failed invasion, Earth hosted the first Galactic Innovation Summit. Representatives from dozens of civilizations gathered to share ideas and technologies. The human approach to problem-solving, combining multiple perspectives and being unafraid to challenge established principles, began to influence societies across the galaxy. Dr. Rodriguez, watching a demonstration of a new quantum communication system that defied traditional physics, reflected on how far they had come. We never wanted to just win a war, he told his mixed team of human and alien researchers. We wanted to prove that the greatest discoveries come from being willing to imagine the impossible. The ancient council's warning to the Craxan Empire had been prophetic, but not in the way anyone had expected. Earth hadn't just defended itself, it had become a catalyst for galactic evolution. The combination of human adaptability and Craxan precision created a new model for civilization, one that valued both innovation and stability. General Williams, standing in the transformed Combined Defense Command, now an international center for both military and scientific advancement, received reports from exploration vessels pushing the boundaries of known space. Every time we think we've reached a limit, she mused, we find new ways to go beyond it. The final validation of Earth's impact came from an unexpected source. The Ancient Council, those mysterious beings who had warned the Craxan Empire about Earth, made a remarkable announcement. They would share some of their own knowledge with this emerging human Craxon alliance, believing that together they would use it wisely. As Captain Chen prepared the Prometheus for another groundbreaking mission, she reflected on the message they had sent to the Craxon fleet during that first battle. You were warned about Earth. The warning hadn't been about Earth's military capability or technological secrets. It had been about humanity's unique gift, the ability to take any challenge, any setback, any encounter with the impossible, and transform it into an opportunity for growth. The galaxy would never be the same. And that, perhaps, had been the point all along.